Welcome to the Deliberate Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Allison Dunn, and today we're diving headfirst into one of the most transformative leadership secrets out there. Here is a spoiler alert. It's not about shouting the loudest or fanciest title. It's about understanding people. Yep, the living, breathing, complex humans you work with every day. Now, if you're thinking, Allison, I already know my team, I'm here to gently and deliberately challenge that. Do you really know them? Do you know what makes them tick, what frustrates them, and most importantly, how they want to be led? Grab your coffee, because in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to equip you with insights that could completely change how you lead. Ready? Let's dive in. First, let's talk about communication. I call this the silent killer of great teams. It's not the big blow-ups that tank productivity. It's the small, daily misunderstandings that pile up. Think about the last time you gave someone feedback, and it just didn't land. Chances are, it wasn't what you said, but how you said it. This is where the DISC profile swoops in to save the day. I am a huge fan of the DISC assessment. It's one of the most powerful tools we use in leadership programs. Let's take a quick crash course on the DISC personality assessment and why it's so critical to understand what your team's DISC assessment results are. Here we go. My Ds. If you're a driver, you're fast-talking, result-oriented, and focused on the bottom line. You might unintentionally alienate someone who values harmony over speed, like a stabilizer. My Is. If you're an influencer, you're energetic and people-oriented influencers thrive on connection and creativity, but to a conscientious person, that energy can feel like noise. They're looking for data and logic, not fluff. Here's the kicker. Most leaders communicate the way they want to be communicated with, and that's a problem because, let's face it, not everyone is like you. Think about your team for a second. You've got Sarah, the driver, who wants everything done yesterday. Then there's James, the stabilizer, who needs time to process changes. And let's not forget Maria, the influencer, who wants to brainstorm ideas in the middle of a meeting. If you're treating everyone like Sarah, guess what? James and Maria are quietly plotting their exit, or at least zoning out in your next team huddle. Let me share a quick story. One of my clients, a brilliant CEO, was struggling with high turnover in their sales department. We ran a DISC assessment, and here's what we found. Every single member of their team had a different communication style, but the CEO was running meetings like a driver. Fast, results only, and no chit-chat. The influencers felt invisible, and the stabilizers felt overwhelmed. Here's what we did. We created a tailored communication strategy. Meetings became a mix of quick wins for the drivers, collaborative brainstorming for the influencers, and structured plans for the stabilizers and conscientious types. What was the result? Turnover dropped by 40%. The team didn't just work better, they felt connected. Now, let's get deliberate. I'm all about action. So here are 3 things you can do today to become a more people-centered leader. Take the DISC assessment. Start with yourself. Self-awareness is the first step to understanding how your communication style impacts your team. Practice adaptive communication. When you're talking to a driver, skip the backstory and dive into the results. But for an influencer, lean into the storytelling. They'll love it. Personalize motivation. Not everyone wants public praise. Stabilizers might prefer a quiet thank you, while conscientious types thrive on specific, meaningful feedback. Leadership isn't one size fits all, and the sooner you embrace that, the sooner your team will thrive. Here's my challenge for you. This week, observe your team. Pay attention to how they respond to feedback, meetings, and even casual conversations. Then, adapt your approach. Great leadership isn't about shouting directions from the front. It's about walking alongside your team, understanding their needs, and creating an environment where every person feels seen, heard, and valued. Thank you for spending 5 deliberate minutes with me today. Let's keep leading on purpose. If you want to dig deeper, head over to deliberatedirections.com, where we've got free resources to help you get started, including a DISC assessments for you and your team. Remember to subscribe and leave a review if this no-nonsense